Okay, good evening, everybody. We will call to order this meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals to order at 7 p.m. on December the 3rd, 2025. We have a little bit of change in our lineup. We are missing Commissioner Sweely, who's a little under the weather this evening, so we wish her well. And we are missing Commissioner Poison, who is receiving a coaching award tonight, so he was unable to attend, and we wish him well as he's leaving our board. And we are short one of our alternates, Commissioner Doolin, who's also out of state, and Commissioner Carroll's out of state. So we have Commissioner alternate members Ryan Ehrenhaus and Judy Cleary, who are going to be sitting in for them this evening, and of course Commissioner Lynch and myself. So what's the net effect of all that? We have 4 commissioners, and to the applicants, I know you've been advised by Mr. Brennan, and I'll just remind it so it's in the record here. The way zoning variances work is they require by state law 4 affirmative votes to grant a variance. So that puts us in the sort of uncomfortable situation here where if anybody casts a no vote, it will defeat the motion. So what we want to do is we want to be fair to all the applicants who usually would expect to have 5 members on the board listening to their presentations. All the petitioners this evening do have the option of asking us to hold their petitions over until our January meeting, where we can hopefully we'll then have 5 members in attendance at any time. So I will ask before they complete their presentation if they'd like us to proceed, or if they would like us to hold it over until January. And we'll be trying to just make sure that everybody gets a fair shot at getting their variance based on the merits of their application. Okay? Okay, starting with our continued items. This item was tabled from last month. It's 256 Lordship Road, so I believe I need to take this one off the table because it was tabled. I take a motion to take this application off. Moved. Mr. Ehrenhaus, second. Ms. Cleary. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Carries unanimously. So is the applicant present for 256 Lordship?
Hi, Cindy Garcia Diego for 256 Lordship Road.
Okay, and I know most of the members here were present at that one. A few of them have had to just review the tapes. Could you just refresh our memory on your petition? And I know we have some legal issues that we got to talk through.
Okay, so they were to construct a shed dormer on the right and left side of the existing pitched roof, to increase the habitable space on the upper level. The new dormer would include structural framing, roofing, siding, windows, insulation, and finishes to come in compliance with the 2022 State Building Code. Mm-hmm. The dormer will provide additional headroom and usable floor area for 2-bedroom and 1 full bath and 1 half bath on the first floor.
Okay.
This property does have a stop work order.
Mm-hmm.
That's neat to know. An application has been put in for rebuild of what previous contractor has done to property. But they do have footings in place to which the variance is for, as well as the left side dormer.
Mm-hmm. Can you just double check your microphone's working? Just tap it a bit there. Okay, we got it. Good. Okay. With regards to the application, we had asked the town attorney's office to just walk us through some of the issues. Mr. Florek, you've delivered a memorandum to the board. Can you just summarize your findings quickly for us?
Sure. I mean, one of the issues that was brought up at the last meeting was, should you guys take these 3 separate variances one at a time? And obviously you should consider them independently. Mm-hmm. So I think I noted in my memo, you could grant them all, you could deny them all, you can grant some, you can deny some. Sorry. The other issue was I just raised some points that you guys should consider when you're determining the variances. Let me just pull up my, I mean, do you have a specific question, Mr. Chairman? I just got my memorandum right here.
Yeah, I'll give you a minute.
I wanted to point out that, this home and the lot were created before zoning, the modern zoning scheme even existed. So that's, that's kind of a unique issue with this one. The house was constructed in 1930. All those lots down in Lordship are from the 1910s. So they were all created before there was any zoning requirements, such as the setback, 10-foot setback you're dealing with here.
Yes, it's a non-conforming lot.
It's a non-conforming lot now, yeah. But as I noted in my memorandum, when this house was built, the lot was conforming, at least in terms of the required lot area you needed. Subsequent changes to the zoning regulations is what made it non-conforming. And when the house was built, in 1927, the town in 1927 enacted a zoning map that required 4 feet setbacks. So when this house was built in 1930, it complied with the setbacks. Now, obviously, there's a 10-foot setback. So those new zoning regulations sort of created that hardship. And the other thing I wanted you guys to consider was, as you guys have done in other applications, is whether or not there's a reasonable use of the property now. And whether or not, these variances are economic hardships, or whether or not it's just something the applicant wants to do, not something that they necessarily need, which is something you guys should consider on all your applications.
Okay, so with regards to that, so just one question, or a couple questions probably. The third question was the waiver that is requested for the height of the accessory structure. Go ahead.
I believe the waiver for the accessory structure is the lot area itself. From what I can recall, the structure met the height of 12 feet.
Okay.
Yeah, it was in excess, I believe. It's 68 and change of square footage, and you require 7,500 for an ADU?
That's correct. One of the requirements for any proposed ADU, a detached ADU, is that the property must meet the minimum lot area requirements.
Okay.
In this case, this property is shy of 7,500 square feet.
Okay, so I'm just going through your memo again. I'm sorry, it's been a few weeks from this and and refresh my memory here. Okay, so exceeds the town's okay. Wait a minute, hold on. May not be more than 12 feet in height to the midpoint. Oh, wait, I'm looking at the wrong one. Jeez, hold on. That would explain why it doesn't make any sense to me. All right. So I guess the question then is just the dormer itself. Just walk me through, is that the variance that they're looking for, or am I
Yeah, the
looking at
left
the wrong
side
one?
dormer.
So yeah, the variances that are being requested is one for the dormer, which encroaches into the 10-foot side yard setback.
Okay, thank you.
And the
Yes.
fact that that existing house already sits on that, I think it's approximately 4 feet from that property line, the house is considered non-conforming. So we have the expansion of that pre-existing non-conforming structure. So you have the side setback, the house, and I believe there was the proposed front porch also encroaches into that side yard as well. And then we have the ADU as an additional variance as well.
The additional variance, and that's where the issue becomes, is that it does not meet the requirements for the ADU.
Correct.
Okay. Members, feel free to ask questions. I'm just try and gather my thoughts. Mr. Ehrenhaus?
Just to confirm, so the dormer and all, while that's encroaching, it's just up, it's going up, but it's still on the same footprint of the existing house.
Correct.
Yeah, that's correct. Yep.
Is there, excuse me, is there something, what's going to be done with the garage, the little side shed off of it? Is that
They
coming
want to
off?
rebuild the two-car garage and, as it was existing two-car garage, and they demoed the garage, but they were gonna do an addition, an ADU to the side, the right side of the garage.
The right side.
So if the house faces Lordship Road, but the side yard on the corner had a two-car garage, so they're gonna put it back in the same location, but add a ADU to the right of it.
That will include that little shed that's on the side of the garage now?
There's nothing there now. There's a shed behind, that belongs to the neighbor to the left side of the property. The interior doesn't belong to 256, it belongs to the neighbor next door.
Attached to your garage, though?
There's no, well, there was an existing car garage, and it was taken down. It's part of this work, and hence why they have a stop work order, because they didn't have a permit to take down the garage. They were supposed to renovate it.
Thank you.
Ms. Cleary, just to confirm, you did watch the video from last month? Okay, just want to make sure. Okay, go ahead. Just give me 1 minute here. Just want to review one thing. Okay, here we go. Okay, it's not what I wanted, but anyway. Any further questions, either for the applicant or for the town attorney? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody wish to speak in favor of the petition? Anybody wish to speak in favor? Anyone in opposition? Opposition? Last question to the applicant. Do you want us to proceed with taking it up today, or would you like it to continue until next month? Your choice. Okay, thank you. Okay, take a motion to close this public hearing item.
So moved?
Mr. Ehrenhaus, second. Ms. Cleary? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Carries unanimously. Okay, Mr. Ehrenhaus, can you read petition number 1, please?
Sure. 195 North Pasture Lane, petition of David E. Rubenstein, trustee, seeking a site plan review and variance of section 3.2.1C of the overall building and impervious area coverage, and section 6.1.32 of the max height requirement of 12 foot to 15 foot, 1 1/2 inch, in order to construct a detached garage incidental to a single-family dwelling in an RS1 zone, hardship, topography of lot, and location of wetland area.
Good evening, everyone. Madam Secretary, Mr. Chairman, Mr. Learned Town Attorney, Mr. Brennan. I'm going to pass a series of these pictures out. If you just hang on to them and not really bother with them until I give you a presentation
Okay.
with regard to what they mean and how they fit into the project itself.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Nicholas Owen. My business offices are located at 795 East Broadway here in Stratford, Connecticut. I'm here this evening on behalf of Mr. David E. Rubenstein, trustee, which is Mr. David Rubenstein, further known as Chip, and he is in the audience right here with me this evening. Mr. Rubenstein, Chip has owned this property for approximately 15 to 20 years, and this is back in the days where the regulations on what you could do on your lot, what you could do as far as side yards, setbacks, lot area, wetlands, the rules were much more liberal. We're here this evening because Mr. Rubenstein would like to build a two-car garage on the opposite side of his home where there's an existing two-car garage. And if you can see on your small maps, and I can point out on here, this is where the existing two-car garage is. And you could see it fits within the setbacks as prescribed by zoning under the current zoning regulations. What Mr. Rubenstein would like to do, Chip, he would like to build an additional two-car garage on the opposite side of the property. The issues at hand, and we have discussed these, at least I have discussed these many times with Mr. Brennan in the zoning office, as which is the best way to go about trying to achieve this goal. And we had come up with several alternatives and designs on this, and the only one that seems to work is doing it the way that we did it. We do meet all of the minimum setback and side yard requirements. We meet all of the requirements with the exception of what was just reiterated as to the, what I would consider very minor waivers so that Chip can go and build a two-car garage. It is a 24 by 46 garage, and it will be used specifically for the purpose of Mr. Chip's business. He is a collector of high-priced antique specialty cars, and he would like to turn around and keep them garaged as opposed to leaving them out in the open air. It's very, very important to him to maintain the value of these cars. He buys them, he fixes them up when they need fixing up, and he wholesales them or sells them when they're ready to go. But he does need additional storage on his lot in order to do it. Now, one of the major hurdles was, because we are within, thank you, the absurd regulation, 250 feet of wetlands where you cannot build unless you get a permit or where you can get it waived, we had to appear before Kelly Kerrigan, and in administrative session, she approved for us she granted us a waiver and granted us a permit, and she has allowed us, let me point out on here, this is where the wetlands is, on the rear of Chip's property. The actual designation lines are here. So he's right up against the upland review areas and the wetland lines. We needed permission from Ms. Kerrigan in her administrative function in order to give us a permit to do that, which she did. You could see where these just about touch the wetland lines here and go over a little bit here. And the reason why we pushed it back this far is so it wouldn't be encumbering to the across the street neighbor, and it would fit into the property this way. So I'd like to enter into an exhibit a copy of the wetlands request, the wetlands permission, and the wetlands permit. So it's already been approved. That is the main issue of our ability to achieve the goal that Chip would like to. The interesting thing about this zone, which is a 1 acre zone, it's a 40,000 square foot zone. Mr. Rubenstein has plenty of property. The problem is that it's impacted in a negative manner because he is up against the wetlands. Now, he is not up against the wetlands itself. There is a pond. If you could see this, there is a pond back here. You can't see it on the map, but the line extends inside his property. Therefore, he loses all use of all of this property. It's interesting. You can't use it. In a lot of cases, you can't get a permit, but the town never waives your property taxes. So generally speaking, a lot of people are paying property taxes on property that they can't use. For example, in this zone, 10% in the regulated area, The area zones is more restrictive than in smaller parcels of properties in other zones. For example, 20% and 50% for impervious area and non-developed portions of the property. We don't know why it was set up that way, but they are more restrictive on a larger lot than they are in different zones. If you have a smaller lot, they're less restrictive on what you can build, where you can build them, and how close to property lines you can go. The garage in itself is going to be typical of all of the typical of the architectural design of his house. To limit the request for an impervious area, Chip has agreed not to pave this portion, therefore it is not included in that. So that actually limits what he can do and what he has agreed to. Getting back to the wetland situation for a minute, Kelly, Ms. Kerrigan, wanted us to do some shrubbery around the back of the garage and around the side, and we agreed with her that whatever plants that she wanted or shrubs that she wanted, they would be planted in keeping with the general overall good-looking property that Chip maintains. You can see here on the top of the map, there is a plant list which will be specifically adhered to, and before we do any planting, I agreed with her, we would check with her in case there were some changes or some other issues that she had with this petition. The hardship is the wetlands. That is the specific hardship. And this board can grant a waiver based on a specific hardship that is in nature, in harmony with the general purpose and intent, with due consideration for the concerns of the public health, safety, convenience, and welfare, and properties solely with respect to a parcel of land where owing to conditions specifically affecting such parcel, but not affecting generally the district in which it is situated in, the board can approve this as a legal hardship. You can check with the town attorney on this. This comes right out of the legal language of what is legally required for the granting of a hardship. The pictures that I have handed out, I would like you to take a look at them, and I can point them out to you. What I did is you can look through your pictures one by one. I'm going to go from left to right, and the first picture is on the left. This is the front of Chip's home. The next picture that you have is a side view of it. The third picture is the side of the house where the garage will be located and built. This is the rear of the home. This is an area of the wetlands and trees that will not be disturbed, and this is another view of where the garage will be located on the property. Mr. Chip, as you can tell, maintains his property well and is very friendly with his neighbors. All of the notifications were sent out to all the neighbors as prescribed by your regulations, and the most affected one would have been the neighbor across the street, and that would be at 200 North Pasture Lane. That would be Attorney Richard J. Perturla. You may be familiar with his name. And based on his friendship and relationship with Chip, he did write a very nice note, and it says, "Dear sirs or madams," really addressed it to the board, and I'll submit this in as an evidence. "My wife Maria and I reside at 200 North Pasture Lane, Stratford. It is our understanding that David Rubenstein has applied for a variance in connection with the construction of the proposed garage at 195 North Pasture Lane. We are fully supportive of his request for a variance." And I'd like to submit this into the record as evidence. The pictures that I handed out to you, I would like to also submit into the record as evidence. And with that, I conclude my presentation in chief. If any of you good people have any questions whatsoever, I'll be more than happy to address them, and if I can answer them, I'll answer them.
Okay, questions from members? Ms. Cleary?
You said this was a two-car garage with the house. It looked like 3 cars garage to me on the house, you know. And that's what I thought, 2 more garages. Must be a collector of
Well, basically,
vehicles.
basically he is, and Mr. Rubenstein, in fact, owns Chips Auto Sales in Milford, Connecticut. You may see it as you're going down, is it on on the Post Road in Milford. This,
So with the house, is there 3-car garage with the house?
the current garages that he has located with the houses are,
There are 3, one is used for storage.
okay.
There were 3, you're saying 2. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Ehrenhaus?
I'm just curious, the reason for the need for the height variance, like why the building needs to be as tall as you're looking at.
Actually, we didn't want to make it too low so that the home itself dwarfed that secondary structure. We wanted to bring it basically in line so it looked like it fits there as if it were built originally with the original home.
Thank you.
Okay. Actually, along those lines, let me continue that one, because there's 3 separate variances that you, or 2 or 3?
3.
3, okay. So I understand to a degree that the situation with the wetlands and how that's going to impact the coverages and the impervious, but how does that connect to the height? Because we're going from 12 to 15.1.
Only by way of architectural, an architectural type of structure so that it looks like it fits on the lot. We
Okay.
didn't want to make the roof line look too much different than the existing home. No disrespect, you know how they measure the height of the roof.
Yeah, it's
a weird-
complicated
It's a
in this
weird
way.
complication.
Yeah.
And to me, it never made any sense, but you require a waiver.
But when we're talking about topography of the land, is there any, all right, so here it is. I love this one. Such structures may not be more than 12 feet in height from the midpoint of the roof and not less than 3 feet from any side of the rear. So there's not a connection between, it's not higher up on a piece of land on a
No.
hill or something like that that would
It's
cause
not.
it to be higher than that, right?
No, it is not.
Okay. Okay. Just walk me through this one because I want to make sure I get it correct in my head. So the change in, going back to the coverages in the impervious. So they basically were excluding a portion of the property in order, that's affected by wetlands because it's not usable, correct?
Correct.
Okay,
And we can't include that in our calculation for the impervious.
right, okay. One other question that I did have, and I've never seen this term in all my years, maybe I've just missed it all the time. Grave drive?
I'm sorry, gravel driveway.
Oh. Okay, that makes
There may be-
sense.
There may be a misprint on that plan.
Gravel. One letter makes quite a
right.
difference. Okay, so that indicates the area that you're not going to pave in order
Correct.
to.
So we tried to limit the request for a waiver based on leaving that driveway gravel and not paving it.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense there. Okay, and we understand the pond that's on the other property there too. Just going back to the roof height for 1 second. Is there a functional reason or is it just architectural that has to be?
It's just architectural. There's no plans or no secrets where it's going to be finished off upstairs. It's just architectural in nature.
Okay. Because I'm struggling a little bit with applying the variance requirements to that particular feature.
I could understand, and I thought about that you guys
Yeah.
may have a problem with that, but in thinking through, I wanted to go through and ask that request because it fits in, and it makes the entire property, including the existing house, it looks like it's all together with the proper roof lines.
Further questions? Okay. Thank you, sir.
I have a question. Now the $64 question.
Yes, sir.
Based on what you had said with the first petitioner. If there is a problem, then I would ask that the commission keep the public hearing open until next month. If there's not a problem, I would like to go forward. I think that I presented the case in such a way that we do have, in fact, have a legal hardship, and the architectural feature would create a hardship, not to specifically to this property, but to the property across the street. We want to make it look like it fits there, so that the neighbor who was kind enough to give Chip a favorable opinion, that it all fits together. So I'm going to have to lean on you guys to, you know, guide me on this. I can't make a decision for you, and I can't open my mouth once it goes to executive session and holler and scream because somebody said no.
Okay. Can we ask the commission just stand at ease just for a minute at 7:32? Just one quick question. All right, we'll come back on the record.
Public hearing still open?
Yes.
Oh, okay. In speaking with Chip, he wanted me to reassure that it's going to be, if it's approved, if you grant that waiver for the height of the garage, it's going to be open. It's not going to use for storage or anything else. It's just to make it look as if it fits there. And I think that's important architecturally. If you can't see it to that height, then he would be willing to split the difference on that,
Split the difference, meaning
of the height. We're asking for 3 feet? Is it
3 foot 1
I'm sorry?
inches. Yeah.
3 feet, yeah.
Okay. All right. I think we're going to have to let this one sit, just because I think there is some concern about that provision. I appreciate the willingness to discuss that. So I think what we'll do is we'll probably leave this hearing open and let this one carry till January.
All right, let me ask you this question, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Chairman, and I really don't know the answer. I'm sure the learned town attorney does. If you are willing to grant the other two tonight and leave it open for the third, is that a legal possibility for this commission to do?
It's messy.
Okay.
Because it's 3 variances, but 1 application.
Correct.
Yeah.
But I have seen in situations, and correct me if I'm wrong, I'm not an attorney, and if I was, I would have been disbarred within 2 weeks. I have seen where the commission has broken them up and approved or denied when there were multiple. However, if everybody on the commission tonight is willing to approve it and deny that portion of the application for the roof height waiver, we are ready to go. If you're not, then it's going to go back on the table.
And we're still in public hearing. I think the arguments, I will just say this, speaking for myself, the arguments that have been suggested and the fact that it's been spoken with the conservation officer are very compelling for the first two. Where I've have an issue is on that third one, because I can't make the connection between the hardship that's in the wetlands to the height issue. And I think that's where this might come in handy. So if it was just me, I think you would probably end up winning 2 out of 3. Mr. Ehrenhaus?
I have a question. I might go to the town attorney or the
Please.
zoning officer. If we approve the first two and we deny the second,
The
does
third.
that allow the applicant to move forward and build if they keep it to 12 feet? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and if.
I have may I, or you're all set? If you approve the first two and deny the third one without prejudice and give us another shot at it to come up with some different arguments, does that work for you guys?
Yeah, I think that would
Okay.
make sense.
Then we're ready to go forward if you guys are ready to go forward. Does that work, Mr. Town Attorney?
That works because the ZBA has discretion to rehear
That-
petition,
Okay.
a specific variance application.
For the following month if we want to?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
They don't have to, but they can. I think by
understand.
statute, they can elect to rehear a petition.
Okay.
And I think we've done that before. There was one other case I'm remembering, like very early in our term, that we did. It was denial without prejudice, and then we took it up the next time around because there was a new way of looking at the thing and another type of application of the hardship ordinance. I mean, the hardship, as you know, it's a state law that we have to follow, and we have to be able to state convincingly in the record what the hardship is for that parcel of land, why it applies, and what we're doing to alleviate the hardship. And that, I think, is where I think members are having a little bit of a struggle with that third part.
The
We
only-
understand the architectural part of it,
that-
but it's that part.
That was my concern, the architectural portion of that. Not specifically for Chip, his property, or any of the surrounding properties that abut his. It was for the gentleman across the street.
Yep. Sure.
Just one other question. Would this be two motions, one for
Three.
section 3.2.1 and then the other for the
3?
6.1.3?
Yeah, that's probably the cleanest way to do it. Just do two motions.
Okay.
Yeah, or 3, each.
Or 3.
Yeah, I think we break it down,
Yeah.
very similar to what we're doing with 735 Lordship, is we break it down into its components, vote on each one of them, and then, should that go the way we think it's going to, then, if that motion were to be unsuccessful, you would be coming back and just applying for the variance on the height, which I think
Correct.
is the one that is in contention right now.
That's correct.
Okay?
Thank you very much. If there's no more questions, thank you.
Thank you. Is there any members of the public that wish to speak in favor of this petition? Anybody wish to speak in favor? Anybody wish to speak in opposition to the petition? Okay, we'll move to close this one, and this will be just one, because it's one application, so one motion to close the public hearing
So
item.
moved.
Mr. Ehrenhaus, second? Ms. Lynch, all in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Carries unanimously. Ms. Lynch, why don't you take number 3? I'm sorry, number 2 officially.
55 Maple Street, petition of Thomas Sportini, seeking a site plan review and variance of 3.2.1C of the side yard setback and 7.5.1 for the expansion of a non-conforming structure in order to construct a front porch incidental to a single-family dwelling in an RS-4 zone. Hardship, pre-existing non-conforming structure that does not comply with current setback requirements.
Okay, good evening, sir. Just give us your name and address for the record.
Thomas Sportini, 55 Maple Street. Here requesting a variance to add a front porch to my home. The hardship is that it is a pre-existing non-conforming structure. We have completely renovated the home and we're looking to add a front porch. In order to add the front porch to be even with the existing part of the home, we need to go about 30 inches into the side setback. The house that this is closest to, I do have a letter of support from our neighbor. I can hand this to you guys and pass it around. We worked with an architect about maybe some options about scaling it down, but honestly, it just looks very strange from where that front window is, and we are making a big investment into this home. My wife and I just want it to look nice, obviously for our family, for the neighborhood, and the way a smaller scaled option, it just looked not symmetrical and it looked very odd. So we're requesting this variance to be able to go 30 inches into that side setback just to make it even with the existing part of the house. I'll hand this letter. Do you want me to read it, or do you want me to just hand it to you?
Short, you can read it.
Okay. To whom it may concern, I am the owner of 45 Maple Street in Stratford, and my next door neighbor to the right is 55 Maple Street, owned by Thomas and Faye Sportini. As part of their home renovation, the Sportinis will be adding a covered front porch. I have no objection to the porch running flush with the left side of the existing structure, which is the portion closest to my home. Thank you for your consideration, and she signed her name.
Okey-doke. Just hand it over to Mr. Arnhouse.
Thank you, and any questions, I'm happy to answer.
Okay, questions from members? Actually, this is unusual that I don't even have any questions. I mean, this seems pretty straightforward, so. Don't get many of those. How long have you owned the house, actually?
A little over 2 years. We bought it in the spring of 2023, and we've been living there for the time for the last 2 years, trying to save up money to renovate, and we finally pulled the trigger, and here we are.
And you had given us a sketch, right?
Yes.
Okay.
This front porch, is it going to be just in front of the front door, or does it go all the way to the side of the house?
So
your
where the
neighbor is?
front door is, if you're looking at that picture, so it's going to be a little bit to the right of that front door where the existing part of the house is, and then it's going to extend to the left over beyond that window to the other existing part of the house. I hope I'm explaining that right. I don't have the picture in front of me. There are going to be two doors in the front of the house, but the main front door, which we're going to be used as the main door for in and out, is the one further to the left where we're seeking to put the front porch.
The porch is going under those two windows.
Yes.
That's what I wanted to know.
Yes.
Thank you. Wondered what you were going to do with that.
It actually, I think it'll complement the house very well. It seems like it's
Thank you. I hope so.
missing something.
I agree.
Yeah. Okay, further questions from members? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are there any members of the public that wish to speak in favor of this petition? Anybody wish to speak in favor? Anybody wish to speak in opposition? Anyone in opposition? If not, we'll take a motion to close. By Ms. Lynch, second Mr. Ehrenhaus. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Carries unanimously. And we'll take a motion to close our public hearing and go into our administrative session. Ms. Cleary, second Ms. Lynch. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Carries unanimously. We are out of our public hearing at 7:46, and we'll go right into the administrative session. Let me just switch over to my agenda, and we'll get started. There we go. Okay, you want to take 256, well, actually, we already took Lordship Road off, well, that's, no, it's actually, then, we still need a motion. Motion to take 256 Lordship Road off the table. Mr. Ehrenhaus, second Ms. Lynch. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Carries unanimously. Do you want to, can we take a motion to approve it just so we can start discussion?
So moved.
Second by Mr. Ehrenhaus. Is there a second? By Ms. Lynch. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Discuss. This one gets complicated, and per the town attorney's guidance, what we should probably have done is actually go through these one by one to make sure we get all three of the variances. One second. Do you have your original memo from last month? For this one? Yeah. Because that spells out the three different variances, and I need that. Okay. Okay. Eyes are driving me crazy. Okay, there's, the first variance is of 3.2.1C of the side yard setback requirements. And I'm just going to read this so that we're all on the same page here. The application is seeking a variance of the side yard setback on the south side of the property in order to construct and expand a second floor dormer. The existing side yard setback is set at 4.1 feet, with 4 feet being proposed where 10 feet is required. Variance is also being requested on the same side yard setback for the construction of the front porch, which is being proposed 5 feet from the property line where 10 feet is required. Okay, that's the first one, correct? Yes, okay. So the question is, that we have to discuss here is whether or not to approve the variance to the setback requirements for the construction of the front porch and to allow for the second floor dormer, correct? Okay. And as Mr. Brennan just indicated to me, the area on the plot, this is going to be a little hard to show you, is the expanded porch variance here by the setback line closer to Lordship Road, and then allowing for the dormers that are going to expand on the second floor. Okay? So, discussion. This one's, I know, is going to be complicated.
The dormers, again, I don't think, the dormers
Just
don't,
talk in your microphone, please.
the dormers, from what I can tell, don't encroach any further than the existing house. Right, so it's more just giving them the waiver so that they can build it in a non-conforming house.
Yes, yeah, you're correct. It's not expanding the footprint any further.
Okay.
The proposed front porch encroaches a little bit into that side yard setback.
Right.
So that's really the only side yard encroachment.
Okay. And how many feet does it encroach in? Is it minimum?
So they're proposing the front porch setback just in from the existing house. So the existing house is 4.1 feet.
Okay.
So it's a little bit more than 4.1 feet.
And I think it's worth noting on this one, as was noted in the town attorney's memo, that the undersized lot was created, I'll just read it. Created in the early 20th century, and the present home was constructed 4 feet from the setback line in 1930. In 1930, when the home was constructed, it complied with the then existing lot size and setback requirements. Subsequent changes to the zoning regulations made the lot and the home non-conforming. So as we stand here in 2025, 95 years later, it is now considered non-conforming. Okay. Yeah.
Do we need a motion?
Yeah, let's do that. I know we took a general one to start the discussion. Let's split this into all three. So if there's a desire to approve this particular variance, let's take a motion from the floor.
So approved.
Mr. Aaronhouse, and a second, Ms. Cleary. Okay, discussion on this particular item.
Seems pretty straightforward.
Any further discussion? Okay, Mr. Aaronhouse,
Aye.
Ms. Cleary. Ms. Lynch. The chair votes yes. So the yeas are 4, the nays are 0. We'll consider this one approved, or this one is granted. On the second variance, let's go through this just to make sure we all understand here. Requesting a variance of section 7.5 to allow the expansion of a pre-existing non-conforming structure. Section 7.5 states that a building or structure, the use of which does not conform to the use regulations for the zone in which has been situated, shall not be enlarged or extended unless such building or structure, including such enlargements or extension, is made to conform to all regulations, including use, for the zone in which it was situated. Because the existing non-conforming house, which was constructed in 1930, does not conform to today's side yard and setback requirements, the RS4 standards, a variance is approval is required within the setback area.
Slightly confusing,
Slightly
but
confusing.
essentially the same exact variance that was
For
just,
this exact same thing for the same property, because we granted that, in order to empower that, you almost need both of them in harmony with each other, correct?
That's correct.
Okay, I think I got that. Make sense? All right, so let's take a motion to approve the second variance by Ms. Lynch.
Approve.
Is there a second? Ms. Cleary? Further discussion? Okay, I think they have to go hand in hand. So we'll take a roll call vote. Ms. Lynch?
Approve.
Ms. Cleary? Mr. Aaronhouse?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. The yeas are 4, the nays are 0, and the variance is approved. Okay, the last variance being requested pertains to section 4.4.2 E2 for the establishment of a detached accessory dwelling unit on a parcel of land that does not comply with the overall lot requirements. Section 4.4.2 E11A of the accessory dwelling unit regulations state on any single-family zoned lot, one freestanding detached accessory structure may be constructed or converted into an accessory dwelling apartment under the following conditions. The existing lot shall meet the minimum lot area of the applicable zone. The property falls within the RS4 zoning district, requires a minimum lot of 7,500 square feet, while the property in question only consists of 6,841 square feet. The board should consider whether the proposed addition of an accessory dwelling unit on an undersized lot is too intense for the parcel itself, and whether a reasonable use of the property already exists. Okay. Discussion.
This is really tough because I'm all for ADUs, but that is tight. That's very tight. This is hard.
So my understanding from the regulations, if it's owner occupied and it stops being owner occupied, that reverts it back from being an ADU? Is that what I read in the regulations?
Yeah, essentially. The components of the apartment would be to be removed. The ADU would essentially be abandoned. although that it's going to be a very difficult regulation to enforce.
So the way the regulation is crafted, it essentially forbids ADUs on anything that's not at 7,500 square feet.
Dependent on the zone, that's correct.
Okay. Well, yeah, in this particular zone,
Yes.
correct.
Yep.
And I mean, the way the zone, the way the variance rules, what we're allowed to do, it seems like if something is preventing you from complying from it, we can grant a variance. But when you're not entitled to it, or you're not, it's not applicable to you, or you're specifically forbidden from it, that's another bit of a leap, I think.
Yeah, I do agree. You know, the majority of properties, especially in lordship, are undersized properties. This regulation is new. I don't believe this regulation carried over from the previous regulations
Okay.
that we had prior to January of 2025. Maybe it's something that goes back to the zoning commission for another review, for a possible text amendment. Our office is preparing multiple text amendments to continue to clean up some odds and ends of the first draft of the regulations. So maybe it's something we consider then.
Yeah, Ms. Clear? You have a question?
No, that just sounds good. That sounds good. This is tough. Have we heard anything from the neighbors right next door? How they feel with what they plan to do? Are the neighbors aware of what they're planning to do?
Go ahead.
We have not heard from the neighbors. The mailings went out to everybody within the 100-foot radius, so they are aware. You know, during the early phase of it, prior to the applicant we have here today representing the homeowner, we had several of the neighbors calling our office because they knew they didn't have the proper permits to be working. So at that point, you know, that's when we heard from them. Once they stopped the work and submitted their applications, we haven't heard from any of them.
Thank you.
And this is the second meeting where we're bringing this up, and there hasn't been somebody from the public speaking against the application, correct?
I don't recall any other public comment last month. Did we? Okay, we might have. I'm sorry. I can't recall.
Not that I recall.
Is it the minutes?
I do have the minutes, but I do believe a neighbor was in the audience. I do not believe anybody
spoke.
spoke on it.
All right. Okay. I mean, if we have a reasonable use of the property, and I think it's I'm coming back to, just so people, the way I'm starting to look at this is, I almost think that the proper venue would be a text amendment. I mean, a change in the regulations as opposed to a variance, because, I mean, the fact that, yes, it's an undersized non-conforming property, but the regulation, seems to specifically forbid it from actually happening. And so I'm starting to have a hard time understanding. I mean, I know there's a public policy situation where both the town and the state are encouraging ADUs, but especially considering it's a relatively new regulation, they didn't think to carve out something or they put a very specific number on there that might not have taken into account a certain part of town, and maybe needs to be altered in there. So I'm not inclined to support this one. I'm not sure if others feel the same way. We can certainly leave it open for our fifth member, but if more than one people feel that way, it might.
And it does appear that both our zoning board of appeals here and our zoning commission are still getting used to these regulations. We had one in front of our zoning commission at our last meeting, which was to be an administrative item due to its compliance with all the regulations.
Mm-hmm.
So if you comply, it's just supposed to be an administrative approval through the zoning commission. At our last meeting, we had one 100% compliant, but the board still denied it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay. I mean, and then the question here is if we grant this variance, okay, for an undersized lot by X number of square feet, you know, does that now, is that the minimum, or do we keep going, or what's the, where is yes and where is no? So, I don't know how other members feel, but I'm inclined to not support this particular variance. Open up other comments.
I've been struggling with it. I think that the density issue on such a small property is a challenge.
Okay. I think procedurally, I think we need, yes, Ms. Cleary?
Would denying it stop it from going back to zoning?
yes, they wouldn't be able to move forward to the zoning commission without this variance. If the board was to approve the variance for the lot area, for the ADU, it then would go in front of the zoning commission for an administrative approval along with the coastal site plan review.
But it has to be approved in order to do that.
If it's denied tonight, there's no application being submitted to the zoning commission.
I don't care to shut them off when it can go back to zoning.
Okay. You know, I think maybe we should let this one sit. This third one, Mr. Floric, would you have an opinion?
For what purpose, too?
Well, I'm starting, I can sort of count, I think this would,
Yeah, so if there's 2 votes, though,
yeah,
then that would mean even if you had a full 5-person roster, you'd only at maximum
Right.
have 3,
true.
and it would fail for lack of 4 votes.
And I don't believe the ADU impacts the other parts of this application.
Not the other 2 variance
The
requests.
other two
no.
variants, okay, all right. Actually, in that case, I think maybe we probably should go to a vote on this one. I think we see a clear will on this one, so, let's go to a vote. Mr. Ehrenhaus?
No.
Ms. Cleary?
Approve.
Ms. Lynch?
Approve.
And I will vote not to approve, so that's 2-2. And the motion fails, so it is not approved. Okay, let's take up one second. All right. All right, take a motion to take 195 North Pasture Lane off the table.
Yes.
By Ms. Cleary, second by Ms. By Ms. Lynch, second by Ms. Cleary. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Carries unanimously. Again, let's do the same thing. Let's take these one by one. So, sorry, too many pieces of paper today. Way too many pieces of paper today. Okay. All right, the first item here is a variance to yeah, we did. Okay, we're gonna yeah, we just did. It was oh, I believe the vote
Voted on the other one.
yeah, we did take a vote to take that one off the table, right? Well, let's do it again. Just, it was Ms. Lynch, and then it was Ms. Cleary seconding, and we passed unanimously. Yeah, I know, lots of votes tonight. No, that's okay, no worries. Like I said, we're all getting around this. Okay, the first one is the waiver for the overall building coverage, going from 8.7% to 11.7%, which exceeds the maximum allowance of 10%. Okay, can we take a motion approved by Mr. Ehrenhaus? Is there a second? Ms. Cleary? Okay, discussion on this one particular item? Okay. Just to make some comments on this, okay, so this is a special circumstance. We do have wetlands that are on the property. I know that just having been up there, there's a very active water table up in that particular area. There's been evidence presented into the record that indicates that there's a pond very closely, and a large portion of the gentleman's property is essentially unusable. And I appreciate the efforts that he's made to speak with our Ms. Kerrigan, and to make sure that the proposal, use of his land, which he's had since the property was created in 1994, conforms, and it's the minimum amount of mitigation necessary to relieve the hardship. So I think the applicant has done an exceptional job in trying to work with our administration and come up with a proposal that mitigates it. Obviously, this is a certain hardship. There's only so much you can do with an area that has that percentage of it in wetlands. So the topography of the lot and location of the wetland seems to be a valid reason for allowing the increased building coverage on the property. So I am inclined to support this particular one.
Yes.
Further comments? Questions?
No.
Okay, let's take since that was just discussion, we have a motion to approve the first variance
So moved.
by Mr. Ehrenhaus, second by Ms. Lynch. Further discussion on it? If not, we'll take a vote. Mr. Ehrenhaus?
Yes.
Ms. Cleary? Ms. Lynch?
Approve.
And the chair votes yes. The yeas are 4, the nays are 0, and the variance is granted. Moving forward to the second item, and again, this tends to, well, actually, no, this is a little bit of a separate issue. The proposed garage would increase the maximum impervious area allowed in an RS1 zone. It would exceed it by, let's just make sure. Okay, the existing coverage is 23.7. I'm sorry, let me read this again. The property currently exceeds the town's new residential impervious area requirement of 20%, which was introduced in the zoning regulations updated in January 2025. The existing impervious coverage of the property is 23.7, where 26.8 is being proposed, an increase of 3.1%. I do actually have a question on this one. What was the old standard for coverage?
We never had an impervious coverage requirement for residential properties, only for commercials. So
Really?
impervious area is new for residential as of January of this year.
So does that qualify it as a pre-existing non-conforming?
I'm inclined to say it does.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I've been doing this too long. Okay. Wow. Okay, so actually, had this come to us a year ago, this wouldn't have actually been required, which is kind of interesting. That said, again, there's been activity to mitigate it, and including the changing that to a gravel driveway that would lead to it in order to ensure the maximum amount of impervious coverage there. And again, there's limits to what you can do considering the situation on the property regarding the topography and the presence of the wetlands. So I'm inclined to support this particular variance. Ms. Cleary, motion to approve by Ms. Cleary. Is there a second? Ms. Lynch? Okay. Further discussion? Anybody else have anything? If not, we'll take a vote. Ms. Lynch?
Approve.
Ms. Cleary? Mr. Ehrenhaus?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. The yeas are 4, the nays are 0, and the variance is granted. Okay. The third item. Okay, again, the last waiver being requested is of the maximum allowed height of an accessory structure. Building height is measured from the average grade around a structure to the midpoint of the roof line. Section 6.1.32 of the zoning regulations states such structures may not be more than 12 feet in height to the midpoint of the roof and not less than 3 feet from any side of the rear lot. The elevation drawings submitted with the application show a midpoint height of 15 feet 1 inch, a difference of 3 feet and 1 1/2 inch. And I know this is the one that generated some discussion, so my own reasoning why I was questioning this. Overall, I think this is a very good proposal in its entirety, and I think it's been done with an awful lot of thought. Where I'm just stumbling a bit here is how the wetlands, which is the primary driver to the nonconformance, affects the building height, and why that connecting those dots is actually what's problematic. Has there been any change, since we're talking about this, has there been any change to the building height regulation in the updated regs?
No,
No,
Nope.
so that still has been in existence.
that's all stayed the same.
Yeah. And I know that we've generally not granted these for aesthetic or architectural or conformance reasons, so this one's a little bit tricky for me. So I invite other members to comment as well.
I share your concern. It's the same issue. I think it looks beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
I think architecturally looks very nice, but I don't see the hardship that justifies the variance.
Mr. Owen had said he'd take half of what was over down. Would you find that more acceptable?
It's, I appreciate the offer. It's still a variance of 1.5 feet. Of, yeah, 1.5 feet, essentially, 1.6 feet, but.
But the neighborhood is gorgeous. To have it continue to look so is good.
Ms. Lynch, any thoughts? You've been kind of quiet.
Well, the lawyer that's across the street, Richard, who, he and his wife, who lives across the street from Chip, did mention and offer to, like what Nicholas had said, it'll look presentable on the block. So the structure of it would look presentable, so I don't see anything wrong with that. If the community and the property of the neighbor across the street or the surrounding neighbors saw that, it was no issue with the architect. It's not blocking anything on the block of the community. It's making a presentation very nice, suitable. He is a collector of cars for many years. He does meet all the requirements, additional storage as he's using it for. He's ran this business, and I think the community and the other homeowners like it, and they don't have any issue. So I find that the architect is fine. The variance should be granted.
Oh, man. It's a hard one because of what we need. It says, because of what we're required to do. Before making any such determination or variance, the Board of Zoning Appeals must make a written finding in the minutes of each case, giving in detail the special circumstances which create the hardship for the particular parcel of land and which do not apply to other parcels in the district. I'm really struggling with that one.
Right. I think any house could then say, I'd like a 15-foot garage. And how do we say no to that?
I mean, it's not, if it was a functional requirement for the cars, I might even be able to say, okay. I think what was suggested toward the end of the hearing is, I'm not seeing 4 affirmative votes. If we craft it as a denial without prejudice, it would allow the applicant to come back, represent it to us. Maybe there's some other way of looking at how the height is calculated, or some other way of looking at it to make it work, but it's just, in my opinion, it doesn't quite meet our criteria. So I think what I'll do is I'll make a motion to deny without prejudice, to leave that avenue open to the applicant.
Seconded.
Second by Mr. Ehrenhaus. Okay, we'll take a vote, and the vote on the motion on the floor is to not deny without prejudice, which will allow the applicant to come back to us on that particular item, and hopefully he's clear to proceed with the other portions of the design of the building. Okay, Mr. Ehrenhaus?
Yes.
Ms. Cleary?
Deny.
Ms. Lynch?
I say approve.
Okay. Let me just clarify your motion. So the motion is to deny, so you're actually voting no to deny, meaning yes to approve, right?
Yes.
Okay. And the chair votes to deny without prejudice. So it's 3 in favor of denying without prejudice, 1 in opposition. So the motion carries, and that particular variance is denied without prejudice. Make sense? Okay. Merry Christmas. My apologies. Okay. Going back to the regular items,
55.
hmm?
55 Maple.
Oh, thank
We
you.
have one more.
One more. 55 Maple, take a motion, take it off the table. By Ms. Lynch, thank you. Second by Mr. Ehrenhaus. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Carries unanimously. Thank you, Mrs. DeCilio, appreciate that. Take a motion to approve
Approve.
by Ms. Lynch, second by Mr. Ehrenhaus. Discussion.
The 55 Maple Street petition Thomas Bartini. He's lived there, reside there for 2 years. Purchased home in spring of 2023. He and his wife looking to renovate. Extension of a porch on a single-family dwelling. There is no pre-existing non-conforming, in my opinion, for this single-family dwelling to have a porch, to have a permit to complete. It is suitable that he's asking for. It is required 10 feet to propose of the 8.2 feet. The porch will be a setback of 8.2 from the side property line, resulting in an encroachment of 22 inches or 1 feet 10 inches. I approve, and the porch, to me, looking at the home, like he stated, will be suitable towards the left, lower 2 front windows in front of the home. It looks good.
Okay. Again, just going through what we talked about during the public hearing. It is a pre-existing non-conforming structure. And it's the variance is the minimum required to alleviate the hardship that they would not be able to conform with. Incidentally, seems like the addition would complement the house very well. Looks like, it just seems like the porch as presented makes a lot of sense to add that on there. So, and there's been no objections from anybody on this, so I am prepared to vote in favor as well.
Same. I think this is very much in line with other properties that we've looked at, and in fact, he brought a letter from his abutting neighbor in support of it as well, so I feel pretty good about this one.
Okay. Any further discussion? If not, Ms. Cleary, we'll let you go first.
Motion to approve.
I think we got a motion, we just need a vote. Is that a yes?
Yes.
I think I confused you, okay. That's a yes? Ms. Lynch?
Yes.
Mr. Aaronhouse?
Yes.
Chair votes yes, the yeas are 4, the nays are 0, and the motion is approved, the variance is approved. Congratulations. Okay. Moving back to our agenda, approval of the minutes of the November 5th, 2025 meeting.
So moved.
Motion to approve by Mr. Aaronhouse, is there a second? Ms. Lynch? Any discussions, corrections, changes? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Carries unanimously. Any campsite reviews? Any erosion or sediment? Any members' concerns? Okay. If not, so this is the last meeting of this year for 2025, barring any emergency that would come up. So our next meeting is Tuesday, January 6th. We'll have an organizational meeting, which will be the election of officers, adoption of the rules of order, and I've already spoken with Commissioner-elect Matt Schlager. Looking forward to him joining our family come January 6th. It has been an absolute pleasure to preside over this board this year. I thank all of you for your time and your contributions, and probably most important, your deliberation in some of these little tricky ones that we do have, and I appreciate the support of Mr. Brennan and Mr. Floric, and I'm looking forward to continuing to work with you folks in the coming year. And I do wish all of you and your families a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holiday Season, and all the best for a happy, healthy New Year for all of you. Okay?
And yours too.
Thank you. Appreciate that. Okay. With no other business on the calendar, we'll take a motion to adjourn sine die, as they say on the last day of a session. Is there a motion? Ms. Lynch, second. Ms. Cleary, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, no. Carries unanimously. We are adjourned sine die at 8:23. Long session.